Let's jump to the story as another component of the Olympic opening ceremony. And this is something that Johnny pointed out to me before the show. They depict the Statue of Liberty riddled with holes, decaying. And so Business Insider actually says the Statue of Liberty made an appearance. During an animated segment of the show, the torchbearer flew in a hot air balloon past a number of recognizable figures, including the titular character from the famous French novella The Little Prince and the Statue of Liberty. The French famously gifted Lady Liberty to the U.S. in the 1800s, and a smaller version of the statue sits in Paris. But when you actually look at the video, you can see the statue is actually destroyed. I mean, this is nuts. The symbolism here, I think, is fairly obvious. They are destroying the West. This is our history. They have torn down our statues in the streets. And now, at the Olympic ceremony, they are showing the Statue of Liberty damaged and destroyed.
Apparently with a bullet hole in the face. That's the way I took it. And, you know, Staten Island sits directly in the middle between, in the middle of the harbor. The Lady Liberty sits in the middle of the harbor between Staten Island and Manhattan. So Staten Island Ferry goes by hundreds of times a day. There's not a molecule on it that isn't perfect right now. So the only thing that could be saying is they want it to be shot up, tattered, beaten, you know what I mean? That's how it looks.
Either they want it to be, or they have no respect for America as is, and that's the way they view us, right?
It's one or the other.
Because this is pre-recorded, they obviously made it a long time ago. Like, there was a point where they're like, "Oh, well, we have this American icon that is specific to the relationship between France and America. How do we view it? Damage." That's my interpretation.
Yeah, I think the subliminal there is either we've damaged Lady Liberty that they've given us, or they're, you know, soothsaying the future demise of Lady Liberty. But either one is kind of, to me, everyone knows Macron is in that World Economic Forum and he wants to be Klaus Schwab's buddy, and him and Trudeau and all these guys, they look like the cookie cutter part. To me, this is Macron, you know, doing an ode to the WEF crowd. Look how we're making fun of America.
There's another portion of it that people are upset about. I don't know that I care that much. Marie Antoinette with their head chopped off singing, and then there's death metal playing, and I'm like, I mean, I don't know.
Well, they're celebrating the terror.
Yeah, but it's like a death metal performance. I don't see this as attacking Christianity, blasphemy. It's just like horror.
Well, it's just celebrating the French terror.
Yeah, but I say what
people revolted and murdered everyone.
I don't know if it's celebrating it. I would say it's they're performing with an allusion to it. Replacing the Last Supper with a bunch of drag queens and a child, and inverting the positions and showing a pale horse and putting Dionysus on the table of the Last Supper, that's overtly, intentionally offensive, attacking Christians. Having Marie Antoinette is like, what, insulting the French or not? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see this as an attack on Christianity necessarily. I do think it's kind of a interesting choice to depict your own history, kind of what Libby's saying. But what I find interesting is it's like the face is kind of in drag makeup, and it's, you know, extreme hair, extreme colors, and it's sort of ugly. And they're contrasting that with the architecture of France, which, you know, I typically find pretty beautiful. And
well, the old stuff, yeah.
Right, the old stuff. And so there's this level of like, are you saying we just can't have beautiful things on their own anymore? Like, what is the goal here, to have this modern moment against kind of history? I don't get what they were going for with this one, but
it seems a little avant-garde for something that is a world stage event where everyone comes to show off their athletic prowess and abilities.
Somebody let the theater kids plan this.
I'm not going to feign outrage over a death metal performance with Marie Antoinette singing with her head cut off, because it's like, death metal is just meant to be that kind of hokey, the overt, like having a pale horse run on the water is kind of like, it's creepy, and insulting the Last Supper is just needlessly controversial and offensive to way too many people. And I'm not a Christian, so I'm not going to pretend like that's the most offensive thing in the world to me, but I can identify that as like intentionally trying to antagonize people. Yes, I don't care. You know, the Statue of Liberty, I think, is antagonistic to Americans.
That's what I think. I mean, I just saw a literal friend sent me a video of his television screen and said, can you believe this is happening? And I was like, what the hell is that? And then
I'd love to see the
showed you,
entire
yeah.
thing. I'd love to watch the whole opening. I didn't see it.
Hey,
NBC,
NBC,
let
or
us
whatever.
know.
You have to pay NBC.
I guess so.
Sign up for Peacock.
Yeah, something like that.
Hey,
I'm
this is not a sponsor program.
Yeah. No, I think Peacock's dead. I think it's like falling off like CNN.
A lot of streaming services are struggling. I mean, I think I would always love to have, and maybe if you had listened live, you would have got a commentary on whoever was, in charge of planning this, being like, oh, well, we thought this was a good idea for this reason. But, so much of it seems to be trying to be provocative, and it works in two folds, right? With The Last Supper and the allusions to Christianity, like, we know you wouldn't do it for other religions. So it's both cheap and also, obviously anti-Christian. With some of this stuff, I feel like it's trying to be shocking in a way that is just sort of grotesque. Like it's not thought-provoking, it's just sort of ugly. And
Right.
I think that's kind of a waste of this big moment, right? I think we should have cultures that celebrate beauty and celebrate interesting things. I don't mind the death metal. I just think that, like, this is sort of, I don't get it. And I don't know what they were trying to achieve other than sort of ugliness.
Well, I just think the West is culturally dying or dead. I mean, it's France, so I kind of shrug. France can do what France wants, but there's there's like international relations, or I should say, there's an international Western culture, and this is desperation and it's stagnation.
Yeah, and it should have been cool, right? Because this is the first time they've ever had this ceremony outdoors. It's normally in some sort of big stadium or coliseum or whatever. The fact that it's like this huge event that they have done actually through the middle of Paris on water. Like, it's not even they're marching down the street. They are on water. That should be really impressive, right? And instead it's like tainted by all these weird artistic, political, ideological choices. It makes you...
It's just super
wouldn't watch
gay.
it.
I mean, it's just,
For no reason. Like,
super gay like everything else. Like all the new Star Wars is super gay.
Yeah.
Disney is super gay. All our TV shows are super gay. That's like the only thing that you're allowed to be into anymore is
Superman's
like super gay
gay.
stuff.
Yeah.
Superman,
He
super
gave
gay.
up. I actually adopted Superman's old slogan for my show, Wise Guys. We end every show by saying that we stand for truth, justice, and the American way, because Superman doesn't even say that anymore. He says truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. So Superman's gay too now.
how less specific of him.
His son, but I think that comic crashed because it's because nobody wants to read it. The hero's journey is you're familiar with the hero's journey, the very typical story arc, and it's something like thrust into adventure, aided by magic, whatever. There's like 3 key points, but it breaks down. And so you look at all of the major superhero movies, you look at Star Wars, they follow the hero's journey, and now they don't. And it's no surprise that they're all starting to lose money.
Right.
Yep, because who's driving the viewership of these movies? It's young men, and they long for adventure. So you take Superboy, and you're like, his politics are weird, and he's gay, and there's going to be a young kid who's like, well, I want to go to the moon and fight aliens. I don't want to I don't relate to a comic about having a boyfriend and lamenting like your breakup. But that's what they're making. You look at Spider-Man, for instance, and the male power fantasy there is in the Spider-Man 2000 movie. It's Green Goblin has the busload of children and Mary Jane, and he's like, who will you save, Spider-Man? Mary Jane or suffer the children or something like that. And then Spider-Man's like, I'm going to save them both. And young men are like, yeah, I'm going to save everybody. Now it's like, haha, Spider-Man, your boyfriend's mad at you. Did you buy him a present? And he's like, oh no, I forgot our anniversary. And it's like, do women want to watch that? Because
Nobody
guys
wants to
don't.
watch that.
Nobody wants to watch that.
We need more He-Man, Masters of the Universe. We need, Hulk Hogan. We need Randy Macho Man Savage.
Yeah. That's why I thought-
Jimmy Superfly Snooker. They had the hero's journey, right? They had a little bit of magic and a little bit of theatrics. So like macho alpha young men looked up to these guys. They wanted to jump off the top rope and take down the bad guys. And
Yeah, I think that like toughness too really speaks to a lot of like Americana culture that people are seeking and wanting, like a bravery, a toughness, a perseverance. I loved Hulk Hogan's speech at the RNC.
It was really fun.
I thought it was so fun. I wish I had been in the. I mean, I was obviously happy to be on IRL that night, but like it's the kind of thing you wish you could have experienced live because it's not. Well, I'm sure it was great. Libby was sitting next to me editing for Post Millennial, and I saw her, have a picture of him tearing his shirt, and I was like, Libby, you have to send that to me. That's the best photo of all
Without a
time.
doubt, without
And you
a
would see
doubt.
these posts afterwards be like, can you imagine being like European and looking at this like this is American politics. Like it's both fun and lighthearted, but also serious, and also like this weird display of masculinity. Not even weird, just like
It's just
over
a
the top
display
Yeah.
of masculinity. And the reason it looked weird is because we see so little masculinity.
Oh,
Right.
I feel like it's slightly
In
weird,
our
and I don't actually
spotlight.
mean it's weird because I never got into
when
like
I was
WrestleMania
a kid,
and
we
stuff,
like
you know?
Hulk Hogan was a big figure when I was a kid. He was everywhere. Him and Roddy Piper and all the rest of them.
Yeah.
It was cool. I mean, like there is something cool
I was-
about just being.
We had like Hulk Hogan action figures.
I was there. I was, a fan. I'm not like the biggest like WrestleMania fan, but growing up, you always looked up to these like wrestlers. Are they real? Are they not real? But I was out in Milwaukee for a week, and just this week we had Alina Habba on my show Wise Guys, and we break down. Each of us gave our thoughts on the best moment, and I think. From Cara Castronova, my co-host, Alina Habba, to Lou Gellamino, we all agreed that was like the moment. Like that's why Trump's such a great showman. You know what I mean? When Hulk Hogan personalized himself, he said, "Hey, everybody knows me as the Hulk and all this other stuff, but my name's Terry Bollea."
Yeah.
And I couldn't get involved in politics because Hulkamaniacs like Biden and Hulkamaniacs, it was a business thing. He said, but you know what? I had to get off the couch now.
Wow.
Because they tried to kill my friend. And I think I was in the room. I was there. It was like a moment. You know what I mean? And then when he started ripping that shirt open, I mean, that was the bring down the house moment of the whole entire other than, Trump coming out, the fireman, Corey Compatore's jacket was there. I thought that was like a really sensitive moment. But the Hulkster ripping the shirt, boom.
As an aside, too, just while you're talking about Trump and all that stuff, someone in the chat said more zebra print clothing, but he's not wearing a zebra print jacket.
Can I show the back, Tim?
Yeah, whatever.
I stand up. Will you see me on my camera?
It's a bunch of Donald Trump. They thought it was a zebra.
And this is not your only one of these jackets. It's my favorite.
No, I have a growing collection.
I think that hype that Hulk brought to the convention, there are a lot of cool moments at the convention.
Yeah.
But, with that one in particular, I think a lot of people feel like that, like they want to have their moment where they can just be like, I'm in, like this is moving forward. And there was something really hopeful about it. There was something really like powerful. There's, I think it was great. And to now be in this news cycle where it's like constant attacks on everybody, and Kamala is so much better, and she's constantly wagging her finger and using identity politics. Like it feels very much the opposite of sort of the hype and excitement and the like positivity that I felt like a lot of the RNC speakers had. Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe and we'll see you all there.